Hello everyone, welcome to Book Reviews with Mr. Elrod. Today we're going to be looking at an author that for me has been kind of a recent find, even though he's been writing for the better part of 4 decades, and that's going to be Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is a fellow at the Hoover Institute out at Stanford University. Fantastic writer, writes about a lot of interesting topics. You might have even seen him in the newspapers, writes a lot of op-ed articles, especially with the election coming up. He's been expressing a lot of opinions in terms of the election process and things along those lines. So the book that we're going to be looking at today that he's written was called Basic Economics, Common Sense Guide to the Economy. Now, to me, what's so great about this book and really what's so great about Thomas Sowell, first of all, I would highly recommend this book to anyone. One of the things that's so great about the book and one of the things that's so great about Thomas Sowell is he takes what we would consider some relatively complex subjects and topics, and then he breaks them down pretty simply so that it's really easy to digest or really easy to consider. One of the other things that I really enjoy about him is that he really leaves a lot of the emotion out of conversations, and he breaks things down very logically. He shows you some of the numbers, he shows you the statistics, so you can see these empirical arguments for a lot of the things that it is that he's talking about. Probably one of my favorite lines that he uses in this book and some other books that he's written is, "Don't tell me about your intentions, show me your results." And I think for the world that we live in, that's really an important notion when we talk about, people have some, at least they talk about have some really great intentions, but we don't see such great results in a variety of areas. So now the book might look a little bit intimidating. It's about 500 or so pages long, 530 some odd pages long. But the book is broken down into relatively easy to read chapters, and the chapters themselves are broken down into pretty manageable sections within the chapters, and he goes kind of from topic to topic. He's a really great writer, so the writing style is really easy to read and very easy to move through. Goes through a lot of different topics, called basic economics. So he takes some of these basic economic concepts, especially some that are important to us in the world that we live in, and he explains them really well. Things like price ceilings and price floors, dealing with rent control. Things along those lines. You have conversation on minimum wage. You have conversation on things like government debt, which of course is a part of the big conversation, or the conversation within our country as it pertains to the election and government spending and things like that. I'm going to read you just a brief excerpt from the introduction that I think will help kind of set the tone for the book, might pique your interest a little bit. So it says, "Most of us are necessarily ignorant of many complex fields, from botany to brain surgery. As a result, we simply do not attempt to operate in or comment on those fields. However, every voter, and every politician they vote for affects economic policies. We cannot opt out of economic issues. Our only options are to be informed or not informed when making our choices. Basic economics is intended to make it easier to be informed. The fundamental principles of economics are not hard to understand, but they are easy to forget, especially amid the heady rhetoric of politics and the media. The vivid real-life examples used throughout this book made these principles indelible in a way that graphs and equations might not." So there you go. That's just, like I said, that's just a part of the introduction. I think it kind of gives a sense of his writing style. Also talks a little about what the book is about. So it is a book that I would highly recommend. Don't let the size intimidate you. Take it, read it a little bit over time, especially as the election coming up in November gives you a lot of things to think about. Gives you really clear. Kind of goes about in a clear and systematic way, breaks it down really simply for you. So regardless of your age, whether you are someone that's out of college, you're kind of already in your regular life as an adult and making those kinds of decisions, voting, even if you're a student still in school and you're still trying to come to an understanding and come to your own conclusions about a lot of these economic concepts and principles, it's a book that I would highly recommend. So there you have it, Thomas Sowell, Basic Economics. I hope you found that to be helpful. Hope you read the book. And as always, I hope to see you next time.